Good morning from the garden. It's January the 21st and today I would like to share with you 18 things that we want to accomplish in the garden in 2018. Winter is a quiet time in our garden in the northern hemisphere. We'll be doing some pruning today and some harvesting, but other than that we're taking the time to plan the next season. I have a big work project this year, so I'll be busy with that and I don't want to set unrealistic expectations in the garden. But I do have some goals, and by sharing them with you, I hope to hold myself accountable. Number 1, I want to do a lettuce trial this year. I want to grow different varieties of lettuce next to each other in one bed to be able to evaluate them. And of course, we have grown many varieties over the years, but it's always helpful to have them next to each other and be able to compare the tastes and textures and stuff like that. We like romaine lettuce and Bib lettuce the most, so these are the lettuces that I want to concentrate on in my trial. And if you have any good varieties that you could recommend, then please do. Number 2, every year we try different squash varieties, and our favorite is butternut squash. So this year I want to try 3 different varieties, at least, maybe there'll be more, of butternut that I know are good for our climate. Waltham, Harrier, one of our favorites, and Hunter. Those are the ones that I have so far, and I want to grow them in the same season to be able to compare their productivity. Number 3, I want to find a good, tasty and productive variety of cherry tomato for growing in the greenhouse. Last year we grew black cherry, and this year I would like to try some other ones. I'm thinking about sun gold, but if you know any good varieties of cherry tomatoes for the greenhouse, please let me know. Number 4, I want to plant a row of summer fruiting raspberries. These are fall fruiting raspberries. The variety is called Himbotop, but I also want summer fruiting raspberries, and I already have the plants, but we have not planted them yet. So we have to plant them, mulch them, and make a support. Number 5, I want to finish up planting the pergola that we built last year in October. I have already planted some of the plants, the grapes and the kiwis, but there are more plants that have not been planted yet. So I want to finish that, and we want to film a video about the pergola. Number 6, I want to graft an apple variety from our friend's garden. They let us taste the apples some years ago and we really loved them. They were very aromatic, and the funny thing is they don't know themselves what variety it is. They tried to have it determined several years ago by an apple expert, but he didn't know either. So by grafting it in our garden, we also help, hopefully, to preserve this variety. Number 7, I want to try a different polyculture this year, one that can be sown later in the year around midsummer. This is the polyculture bed that we sowed in April last year and that we filmed a series of videos about, and we're still harvesting from it, by the way. But I also want to try a different mix of varieties and different kinds of vegetables that can be sown later this year. Number 8, I want to do a trial bed of mustard greens. I have grown mustard greens for years, so there are many varieties that I know, but there are also varieties that I see in seed catalogs that sound exciting and I have not grown before. So I want to do a bed where I grow them side by side and we can compare their productivity and taste. Number 9, I want to try an earlier sowing of spinach. Usually I sow it outside in March, but we don't get a terribly good harvest because it tends to bolt very early. And now, after watching the video by Charles Dowding about growing spinach, I want to try pre-sowing it in February and see if that helps. Number 10, I want to dedicate one of our raised beds this year to growing annual cut flowers. And I have grown them before, but not in the past few years. So if I don't, I always miss them. I miss the bouquets that we can pick from the garden. And one of our beds is around 3 square meters, so it should give us lots of cut flowers if we choose the ones that you can pick over and over again. Some of the easy ones that I like are cornflowers, zinnias, pincushion flower, calendula. So these will be the ones I'll be growing. Number 11, I want to grow some dahlias this year, but not for their flowers, but for the edible tubers. There are some varieties that are especially selected for this or recommended for this, and they should taste better than the other ones, but all dahlia tubers are edible. I have not tried them before and I hope to do that this year. Number 12, I want to mulch our edible hedge. We have planted a mixed edible hedge along the two sides of our property with plants like cornelian cherry, hazelnuts, juneberries, chokeberry, and other stuff, sea buckthorn. We planted the bushes 2 years ago, but we haven't mulched them then. Not because we didn't think it was a good idea to do so, but because we didn't have the time then. And I think that mulching around the bushes and suppressing the weeds should really help the plants to grow better. Number 13, grow what we eat. This may sound a little weird because obviously we do eat what we grow, but sometimes I get a little carried away and experiment too much with vegetables that are not as popular with my family as some others. So this year, because the time I will be able to devote to the garden will be limited, I really want to concentrate on the things that I know my family likes best. Number 14, keep better records. I'm usually very good at keeping records about the garden till our summer vacation, and after that it goes a little downhill. But record keeping is really essential for good gardening. So my resolution this year is to keep doing it till the end of the year. Number 15, I want to plant bodinier's beautyberry, Calicarpa bodinieri, which is a fruit-bearing bush, but the fruits are not edible. They are really pretty lilac berries, and this is a little indulgence on my part because I want to plant this bush for its beauty alone. Number 16, I want to plant a pomegranate. We love to eat pomegranates, but they are not the easiest plants to grow in our climate. Now I have found a nursery that sells a variety that was bred in Russia and should be hardier than other varieties. Still, I want to give it a really sheltered spot, and that is in our backyard next to a south-facing wall. So I hope that in a few years we'll be able to harvest some pomegranates. Number 17, I want to take a course in pruning restricted forms of fruit trees like cordons and espaliers, and that's really an art form. So I want to learn to do that well, and there's an expert here in the Netherlands, Jan Frederiks, who's teaching a course in it. He's in his 80s, and I've been wanting to take a course with him for a long time, so this year is the year that I will make it happen. Number 18, organize an open day. I quite often have people writing to me and asking whether they could visit our garden, so this year we want to organize an open day or two in June or July when the garden is at its most beautiful, and share it with other people. So these were my 18 goals for 2018. I'll keep you posted about how I'm doing and what I have accomplished. I hope all of them, but we'll see. And please let me know what your goals are for this year. Happy gardening!